Arishita, can you share the screen? I'll give you the link.
That mail,
Meet.
Let me show you. Let me share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it with me at list. Are you able to see my screen?
No, not yet. Yeah, now it has come.
So these topics are completed. That includes introduction, key concepts, installing Kong using Docker,
Yeah.
and thread, service routes and consumers, and then admin API.
Yeah.
So today we'll go through this custom plugin.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So I'll give you overview first, and then you can go through your own. So normally, let me ask you, what is your understanding on plugin?
Plugin is something like which helps us to fulfill our needs. I mean, we have different components in data power. Likewise, some different components that is present in the Kong to enhance our to fulfill our requirements. I mean, that is what is our understanding. Correct us if it is wrong.
So plugin is, let's say you have a product. Okay. Now, for any product, there will be core module, core component, which comes as a part of anywhere for the small version, big version, whatever you install. Then the core module will come as a part of the installation. And inside that core module, there will be inbuilt plugins, inbuilt modules, right? Using those modules, you basically operate on that particular tool. I'm telling in general. Okay. Now, for that tool, if you want some extra feature, which may not be common for everybody, but you may need it for specific towards your certain requirement. Okay. So in those cases, you will install a plugin, or you will basically build another library which you will use on need basis, not always. So let's say you have a Kong API. When you do the basic installation of Kong, then all the libraries or the modules comes as a part of the initial installation. Okay.
Correct.
Now
Yeah.
later on, you want a special feature to be enabled. Okay. Now that feature may not be part of that core module. So in that case, you can either develop that custom module, you can develop of your own similar to the existing modules as per your need, or you can use any module which is already developed by somebody else.
Yeah.
You can borrow from somebody. So those are the custom modules which you
Oh,
basically install and use for your uh, additional functionalities and features. So now in Kong, let's understand what is this custom plugin, how you can build it, what are the components required to do it, right? All those different aspects.
okay.
Okay. So to do that, first of all, you have to know what is Kong altogether. Say Kong right now, you understand that it is an API gateway,
Correct.
right? But internally, what is this software? What is the construct? What are the different modules are there in it? Right? How it is built? It's those things you have to know, because when you want to build a custom module, means you are enhancing that basically that Kong API gateway. Is nothing but enhancing a particular feature or enabling a particular feature. And when you are enhancing a feature or enabling a feature, that is only possible only when you know that product itself. Right? So saying that you need to know how Kong is built. So we'll try to know that. Now there is two more terms which you need to know. One is Nginx and another is Lua.
Okay.
Okay. Nginx actually is the core for any API gateways. Behind the scene, actually in the back end, even 10 years, 15 years ago, there was no API gateway at all, like Kong or AWS API gateway or APG and all. Okay, they were there, and I mean those companies only they were using it. They did not expose it to the world. They themselves have developed those API gateways and they were using it. Afterwards, when they saw there is a huge demand in the market, then they tried to expose it for other shops, and they are charging us to use it. Okay, but in the backend, it is used using Nginx for routing the request which we send the API gateway. So Nginx only is the core where all the logics are being handled. Okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Are you able to hear and see the screen? Are you able to hear me and see the screen?
Yes, Manoranjan. Continue.
So that is what is Nginx. Okay. Now, what is Lua? Right. So it is basically a programming language. So how you have C, C++, Java, or JavaScript and all, right? Same way, it is a language. Using Lua language, these all scripts are written for Kong gateway. So when you want to do custom plugins, you have to know what is Lua. So let's see what are other things, and then you have Lua Nginx module. So Nginx on top of Nginx, some modules are being built, okay, using Lua. So those are called Lua Nginx module. It enables Lua scripting capabilities in Nginx. Basically, you will write the script in Lua, but in the backend they will be converted and it will be managing the Nginx. Now, instead of compiling Nginx with this module, Kong is distributed along with OpenResty, which already includes Lua Nginx module. So actually, Lua Nginx module directly does not operate, okay, on top of Nginx, but it does via OpenResty. So there is another component that is called OpenResty. Okay, so we will see in detail what are they later on. OpenResty is not a fork of Nginx. It is telling it is not a kind of a branch or fork on top of Nginx. It is a bundle of modules extending its capability. Okay. So Nginx is there as a core. Now to manage or handle or operate on it, there are some modules built. Okay. So those modules are having extra capability, and that is what is OpenResty. So that also we'll know in detail later on. So Kong is a Lua application designed to load and execute Lua modules. So now what we are seeing the Kong it is like it is an application, like we say Java application or C, C++ application, like that. So like that, Kong is nothing but an application. And how it is developed? Using Lua.
Lua.
Right? So like in Java or C, C++, we have so many files, right? Similar to that, Lua also will have so many files or modules. Basically.
Okay.
Like any software is constructed of so many programming files.
Okay.
Right? So which we are commonly referring as a plugin. Now these modules are only called plugins. Right? So there are Kong's plugins or core modules. Similar to that, core modules, we want to customize few modules to achieve some extra facilities or extra features. So those will be the custom. Okay. Now it provides the entire development environment for them, including a SDK, database abstractions, migration, and see these all capabilities are there. Entire development environment is there where you can develop the kit, like if you want to build one Java Spring Boot application, or you want to build a React JS application, you want to bring a Stars or Spring application, right? So you have an entire development framework, right, including the template, guidelines, structure, guideline, regulations, everything is there. Same way it is there for this Lua application also, which you want to do for your custom logic building of your entire libraries. Now those plugins consist of Lua modules interacting with the request or response objects or streams via plugin development kit to implement arbitrary logic. Okay, so what these plugins do basically, now whatever request response you send, now they are handled via these plugins.
Okay.
The PDK is a set of Lua functions that a plugin can use to facilitate interactions between plugins and the code, okay, or other components of code, right? So basically the custom modules which you are going to build, custom plugins, they will be doing the interaction between the plugins and the code. PDK is basically the interface between the custom modules which you are building or custom plugins and the core plugins. Clear? So because anything you want to execute, everything will be done through the core only. But if you are building a custom, then to the custom, first signal goes to the core, and then the original execution happens. And who helps for that? The PDK, plugin development kit. Like we have JDK, Java development kit.
Java. Yeah.
So you have a JVM. We have under that, any bytecode will be running, but we need a JDK or JRE. Right. Now this guide will explore in detail feature of plugins that can extend and how to distribute and install. So the upcoming topics, there will be how you can install and how you can have the template of this plugin, and you can develop the plugin. Okay. So this is about the introduction. Any question on this?
No, it is clear, Manuel.
Now, as I mentioned that at the end, every module or plugin, first thing is plugin. Now plugins are nothing but the modules. Again, modules are nothing but files. Right? So
Yeah.
let's see what the file structure is.
Okay.
Now consider your plugin is a set of Lua modules, right? Lua files. Okay. Now each file described in this chapter is to be considered as a separate module. So one file will represent one module. Okay. Now Kong will detect and load these plugin modules if their names follow this convention. Okay. So it has this standard format for that plugins modules. Okay. And what is that? It's Kong plugins. Then you will have plugin name, and under plugin name you will have a module. Okay. So under a single plugin you will have multiple modules. So every plugin is a collection of multiple modules.
Okay.
Okay. Now your modules need to be accessible through your package.path variable, which can be tweaked to your needs via the Lua package path configuration property. So basically all path settings will happen, like any Java program or other program, you set the path, and from that path you will try to pick up the plugins or the modules. That is the generic concept. Okay. Now however, the preferred way of installing plugins is through Lua Rocks. There are another tool, you can install them so that it will be directly a part of the application code. which Kong natively integrates with, or on LuaRock's installed plugins later in this guide. So in Java also there are so many different ways where you can basically import, load the jar files. Okay, so like you have Bootstrap, then so many different other ways of doing. Same way you have it here also. To make Kong aware that it has to look for your plugin modules, you will have to add it to the plugins property in your configuration file, which is a comma separated list. So how you will basically tell what are the plugin you are going to use is like this. Plugins equals to bundle. Bundle means the existing ones, and then your custom plugin.
My custom plugin. Okay. Yeah.
If you don't want the existing bundle, then you can just mention the custom plugin.
Okay.
Now Kong will try to load several Lua modules from the following namespace. So now you have this plugins, then your plugin name, and then the module. This namespace, it will try to load all those Lua modules. Now some of these modules are mandatory. Okay, a few are mandatory as a core, like handler.lua, and some are optional and will allow the plugin to implement some extra functionalities. API.lua to extend the admin API endpoints. Now let's describe exactly what they are, those modules, what they are, and what you can implement using this. So this is the basic plugin. Okay? In this purest form, a plugin consists of two mandatory modules. These two are mandatory modules. One is handler.lua and is schema.lua.
Okay.
Now, in your Java program, when you write a Java program, by default lang package is, you don't have to import it separately. So that is a mandatory, because through that only that initial class loading, initial your class thread and all being created. Same way, these two are mandatory, and what it does for this core plugin, it is an interface to implement in which each function will run at the desired moment in the life cycle of the of a request or the connection. So when you are making a connection to the API gateway, or you are sending a request, right, the life cycle of that request is managed using this handler.lua. Now your plugin probably has to retain some configuration entered by the user. These module hold the schema of that configuration and defines rules on it. Okay? So that the user can only enter valid configuration values. Okay, so what happens is, you have this core mandatory module, that is fine, but for your program you will require to set so many different configurations. Okay, but to achieve different functionalities, features, or extra security, or any other different enablement of your some features, that case you have to use this schema. What it will do is basically whatever you are customizing, right, or configurations you are giving, those configuration details are stored in that schema. So you can think like, there will be one database schema. In that database, these all configurations will be stored. Get till now?
Yes. Yes, Manoranjan. The
So
thing
then,
is, 1 minute. Let me check if Archana can be back now. She just.
Okay.
so we discussed about basic login modules. Okay, now we'll go through advanced plugin modules. So these some of the plugins might have to integrate deeper with the Kong. Okay, and they have their own table in the database. So I was telling this schema, right? So basically, using this core schema, you will have a kind of a database where these all details can be stored. Okay. Give me a this again. Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Manoranjan.
Yeah.
So under this advanced plugin, right, these all comes, right? API.lua, the DAO S.lua. So this is database access and handler.lua, migrations. Under migrations, you have limit.lua, and then you have a base complete plugin.lua, and then schema.lua. Okay. So these all comes under advanced. Now each of those has some description given. So for example, API.lua. What it will do is this module, or it will do is it defines a list of endpoints to be available in the admin API to interact with the custom entities handled by your plugin. So when you have the custom entities right in your plugin, to interact with them, all the related APIs you can call from here. Okay. Then you have DAOS.lua. So what it is? Database access object, right? That are abstractions of the custom entities needed by your plugin and stored in the data store. So when you are storing all your configuration related details, right? So any operation on adding all CRUD operations for them will be happening through this DAO layer. And then handler layer, what it is? And then you have this parameter whether it is required or not, right? If it is so we have seen only handler is required, right? Remaining are not. Handler, and what is the other one? Required schema. These two are required, mandatory. Remaining all are optional. Okay. So handler is, it is an interface, and each function is to be run by Kong at the desired moment in the life cycle of a request. So we have seen this definition already. And then you have for the migrations. So the database migrations, like creation of tables, migration are only necessary when your plugin has to be more custom entities in a database and interact with them, the DAOs. So when you want the migrations from one API gateway to another API gateway, right? That time these configuration details or anything which is customized, right, specific to your project, those are stored separately there. So those details also you have to migrate in a new API gateway outcome. And how, why it will be required is, let's say when you are doing some development, right? Then once the development is done, now you want to move it to the testing, then to pre-prod, then to prod, right? So those time also you will be able to use these customized APIs with your all configuration related data. Then schema, what is it? It holds the schema of your plugin's configuration so that user can only enter the valid configuration, right? So schema, what is schema? Schema is basically the structure or the description of your configurations, right? So that the schema.lua will have the libraries to operate on schema related activities. Okay. So this is about file structure. Then how do you implement the custom logic? Let's try to understand. So it's saying a Kong gateway plugin allows you to inject custom logic, okay, at several entry points in the life cycle of the request response or a TCP stream connection as it is proxied by Kong gateway. Okay, so you will be able to inject this custom logic which you are going to develop as a custom through these techniques. Okay, and how you do it? To do so, you have to you have the files and the format. plugin name dot handler. Okay, that must return a table with one or more functions with predetermined names. Okay, so this is the format you have to use, and the table which it returns with this particular predefined name, so that it can recognize it. Those functions will be invoked by Kong gateway at different phases when it processes the traffic. So whenever there is request responses and all, right? So that time these functions will be invoked basically, right? So in the Kong API gateway, and those functions will basically process on that data, on that traffic, and it will do the needful accordingly. The first parameter that take is always a self. So first parameter is defined as self. All functions except init worker and the and configure can receive a second parameter, right? So it's saying that init worker and configure has only parameter called self, but for remaining functions they can accept the second parameter, which is a table with a plugin configuration. And what is the parameter basically? It is a table data, right? And what it contains? It contains plugin configuration. So the configure receives an array of all configurations for the specific plugin. Okay, that is generic. It will basically take all the configurations. So let's see. There is a details about handler module. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will give you just overview on this, but you have to go through in detail. Okay. So these three topics you target go through today. Tomorrow give me an overview of these three target topics. I will explain the other three. We'll try to finish it in 3 days. Okay.
I have a question. Like, so here it is, you're telling about the like creating the custom plugins, right?
Implementing custom logic.
Yeah. So in what language that we have to write? Like how are
It
we?
is called Lua.
Okay, in the Lua code we have to write and then import it into the Kong.
No. So there will be when you go further, right? So you have that plugin development kit, and then you have to do the installation of that, installing your plugins and all. So there will be some template how you need to write.
Okay, so inside the Kong itself we can do it.
So it will have a development kit altogether, right?
Yeah.
You have a platform. So like when you are, have you done any seen Java application?
Yeah.
Right. So in the Java application, it comes up with a proper folder structure, and the commands to run the application, command to stop the application, right? Similarly,
Yeah.
it will come up with a complete structure. So you will be able to run the template. There is sample template, sample application. Then on that sample application, there will be proper structures of folders and files. Then you will be adding new files or editing the existing file, and then you will enhance that plugin. And that plugin will be treated as a library, like in Java and all, you get jar file, right? A jar file is a library or a module. Now that jar file can be imported and used in other projects. Same way, you have seen that you are setting the path, right? So using the path, you can mention which plugin or which module you want to use, and then it will try to read the related function from that path or the module. You'll get more visibility when you try to do the real-time installation. We have that exercise in later, so maybe in after 2-3 days we will be able to go. So now if you see this, so implementing custom logic, so you have these all function names, okay, available context. So init worker, what it does is execute upon every Nginx worker processes start. So these all just give a read, okay, what they functionally do. You don't have to by heart the things, but you need to understand that this kind of capabilities are possible, so that whenever you are doing the development of your custom plugin, that time you can come and refer these functions. Yeah, the handler filter, contain, okay, body filter, log, Neat worker, then pre-read SSL certificate, okay. And then you have handler.lua specification. Now for every functions, then you have the specifications. Okay. The specification means exactly what functions are there, what capabilities are there in detail, what are the parameters are there, so those all. So these all in high level you should take a look and try to understand, and if you have any doubt you can ask me. Handler functions are there. So these are, you need to know that okay, these kind of functions are there. Access, response, header, footer, body. These are all WebSocket related services. So this is your plugin development kit, PDK, which is interfacing between your custom and the core Pong plugins. And plugin execution order, how it is executed, which order. Then you have a Pong plugin. So we will go through the Pong plugin also for this custom plugins. This is the order, precedence. Then you have, you want to go into one more module, that is a plugin configuration. You want to go one more, or this also you can take a quick look, plugin configuration. So how you will configure the plugins, right? Here you have a sample code. It has describing your configuration of a schema, how the schema look like. Yes, you saw that is schema, right? So how it is formed. So you have seen JSON files, right?
Yeah.
Similar to JSON file, you have this structure called Lua. This is a Lua form. So don't think that Lua is like Java or C++, how it is, but it has its own format. You go through, it would be easy, like, that tough.
Okay.
So anyway, our name, fields, configuration, types, and you can have fields under fields. You see here, you have fields and then configuration. Then under that you have again fields. So you can have a function like this. You are defining all different types of request types. You can create all parameters is the same. And we have some examples. The schema.lua file is the key of the plugin. So one example is there how you like declare variables like this, local variables. You can return the entire content like this. So by looking at it, you will not be able to digest right away. But if you go once, you clarify a little bit. But after that, when you do hands-on, you will understand. There are a couple of more examples are there. And it is telling you, like, after you have that, plugins, right? You can call like with call command, and you can test it. So these all example wise, you can try to do it also, right? How it is being explained in this, and see what is the result for you. Okay. So let's cover these four. Today go through these four topics, because we are going to meet every day now. So these four should be enough, or else it will be too much. And if you are able to grab more, then we can, in the next class, we can go through some more topics.
Sure, Manoranjan. I think Archana has gone again. She had got some call. So we'll go through this thing today and come back tomorrow. I mean, we are not sure how much we can cover because I mean, here and there we are getting busy, but we'll try to cover as much as possible and come back. Okay.
Yeah, try to finish it soon because as I mentioned it, right? So I planned that it might take 1 month of time, but since you guys are not,
Yeah, right. We know that. Yeah.
time has all a lot of it, right?
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
So much.
Yeah. Understood, Manoranjan. We'll try to finish as soon as possible. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for today's class. Bye.